Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network. Hi, this is Amit Doshi, and I wanted to thank each and every one of our listeners. It's been 2 years since I founded IVM, and it's been an amazing 2 years. We wanted to learn a little bit more about who is listening to our shows, and so we put together a short survey. The survey is anonymous, and we aren't going to be collecting any personal information. I would really appreciate it if you could take a couple of minutes out of your day and go to ivmpodcast.com/survey and fill it out. Thanks, and please keep listening.
You're listening to the Empowering Series, a path to creating a better you. Through purposeful life changes and a positive shift in thinking, you could find yourself leading a more productive and rewarding life. In this series, we're looking at how to be a better boss. The show will bring you a live session between life coach Zarina Poonawala and a willing participant who wants to improve themselves. Zarina Poonawala is a trainer and motivational speaker and CEO of Abzo Unique. With over 7 years' experience, she works with reputed multinational organizations conducting training workshops within the corporate sector and among student communities all over India and abroad. She provides image consulting, grooming and personality development, personal coaching for CEOs, senior managers, and politicians. Taking the hot seat is Amit Doshi, tech entrepreneur and founder of podcasting network Indus Vox Media, who's bringing this show to your ears. So, shall we begin?
Welcome to another episode of the Empowering Series, and I'm still in conversation with Amit. We have loads to discuss yet.
Hey.
So hi Amit.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. And how are you?
I'm doing well.
What do you have for me today?
So I was thinking that, so one of the challenges with running an organization of any sort is leadership, right? So
absolutely.
I was thinking do you have any tools that we could use for more effective leadership?
Right.
I mean, and again, this is, the organization here is not completely flat. It is it is pyramided a little bit.
Okay.
So
you've got a hierarchy.
Yeah, there is a hierarchy here. So I mean, especially considering that, if there are tools that can be used across the board, I think that would be kind of a really interesting thing to
Absolutely. Let's understand that we can actually do something very simple here. Let's just talk about the 10 simple rules of being an effective leader.
Okay, great.
Okay. So I can give you 10 rules, not entirely tools or techniques, but rules that make leaders effective worldwide, globally.
All right, cool.
Okay. These rules help leaders all over the world.
Okay,
to perform better. Naturally,
Okay.
they're more productive as leaders, and also their teams, their followers.
Okay.
All right. The first one being very, very important. Now, Amit, why did you start this business?
Do you want my elevator pitch?
No.
Basically, I think that in India we don't have much in the way of long-form talk radio or long-form talk content, right? And I feel like it's a very unique way of being able to discover information, to create information, to get information, right?
Right.
And I think that there was a definite need to be met in that context. So that was the thinking behind starting this thing, essentially.
Perfect. So I'm just looking at my first quality in an effective leader. Okay. Which, congratulations, you much have in it. You have in you. It's vision. Being a visionary, having a vision is extremely important.
Okay.
Every leader must have a vision, a short-term and a long-term vision.
Right. Okay.
So like you mentioned, you didn't think there was much scope here, and you wanted to introduce something that isn't happening.
Yeah, exactly. I feel that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I see what that's doing. Yeah,
so
I can see that.
So a vision is very important, because unless you don't have a vision, where are you leading your people?
That is true.
So a vision is extremely important. Fair. That's the first rule.
Right. Okay.
Have a clear vision. The second one, I think, is even more important.
Okay.
So I'm not going here in terms of priority basis.
Right.
Each and every one are equally important.
Okay.
Is being a good listener.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Oh, very tough one. Trust me, it's easier to speak than to listen.
Yeah, no, and I think also, just as people, we all have a tendency to hear whatever we want to hear when somebody speaks.
Yes, we are selective listeners.
Yeah.
We pretty much make sure, and that's also a reason for all the miscommunication we have at our workspace and even personally.
Yeah, you hear what you want to hear.
You just hear what you absolutely.
Yeah,
and then there's also the difference between hearing and listening.
Yeah, okay.
So, you see, hearing is basically sounds travel. They travel all the time.
Right.
So, You can hear everything around you.
Correct.
But listening is when you are understanding what you hear.
Right, to pay active attention.
Active attention.
Right.
A simple rule. You have one mouth and two ears.
Okay.
On an average, everybody does.
I think so.
So you listen twice and you speak once.
Okay.
Follow that rule and you'll be a good listener.
Okay.
And that's not difficult again. So.
No, that's not.
Yeah, but while you're being a good listener, a simple thing you can do is do not plan your response.
Because then you're not listening.
You're not listening. So if you do not plan your response, pay attention with both ears and speak after you've listened, you will be great.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, so that's rule number 2 for you.
Okay.
Rule 3 would be a strong decision maker. Having strong decision making skills. Now, by that, I don't mean we need to be impulsive.
Right.
Or always instantaneous. No,
right.
Not necessarily.
Right.
Just strong.
So let me tell you how I approach that kind of stuff, right? My thinking for this kind of, for when it comes to decision making is, I like to get as much information as possible. So it might seem like I'm dithering early on in the process.
All right.
But then once I have information to make that decision, then I want to stick to that decision. So it's kind of like, it's a slow decision-making process, but a firm decision-making process.
Right.
Does that sound appropriate to what you're saying?
Yes. When I say strong decision-making, I don't necessarily put you into a time frame.
Okay.
So, yes, there can be situations where you have to make decisions more rapidly.
Right.
As compared to others.
Yeah, I struggle with that, though. Honestly, I kind of, I'm like a little Hamlet-y.
Okay.
You know, I mean, like, I just want to get this or that or that or this or this or that. I like, look at every angle of everything, like...
Right.
I mean, I don't think I get to the point of what we call paralysis by analysis, but I'm like edging up to that.
Okay. It's simple. Sometimes you just take a decision and make it right.
Okay, yeah, that works too.
So when you're in a situation where you cannot decide,
just take a choice.
As a leader, that is something you have the liberty to do.
Okay.
You have the liberty to lead, have a vision.
Right.
Okay. Do it with determination.
Right.
Most importantly, make it right. Make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why you're leading.
But you want to make the right decision.
Yeah. How do you know which decision is right?
Well, I mean, you want to make the best decision, if not the right decision.
But how do you know which is the best? You'll have to try a lot of decisions.
You have to try a lot of things, but I mean, like, you try and gather as much information as possible.
Sometimes, are you a risk taker?
I started a podcasting company. I'd have to say yes.
So as a risk taker, it's quite contradictory of you to be spending that much time on a decision.
Okay.
On an average, as a risk taker.
Right.
I mean, it's just the usual characteristics of a risk-taking leader.
Okay.
To make quicker decisions.
So I think it's actually like kind of trained behavior in me,
yes,
right? I think
absolutely.
Initially I was very kind of instinctual.
Right.
Right? In the sense that, let's move like this, but I feel like as time has gone on, I've tried to kind of work it in such a way that I am more deliberate about decisions I make.
Right.
So I guess it's kind of, it's not like my ingrained behavior, it's more learned behavior.
Yes, it is. Yeah. It is. Because it doesn't come to you naturally.
Yeah. But now it's kind of, it's like baked into me now at this point.
Because now I'm habituated to that whole process of decision making. Well, nonetheless, a strong decision maker not necessarily has to always be quick.
Right.
Okay. You can take all the time you want in the world.
Right.
But if you ask this question as to how do you know which is the best decision, you will never know.
No, you don't know. There are too many unknowns to know the answer to the exact
absolutely.
Right. Yes.
So, keeping that in mind, sometimes you've got to take the risk.
Just jump.
Like you say, leap, and the net will appear. So sometimes you have to take the leap of faith.
That doesn't sound like sound physics to me, but okay.
It is. Right. Yeah, it's magic.
Okay.
That's if a miracle happens, if you believe in those. Moving on to the fourth point. You have to be very, very persistent.
Okay.
Okay. You would want to use the word determination or persistence. I leave it up to you.
Right.
But one of these or both of these are extremely important.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
Being determined. So basically never giving up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Never giving up. You know you can do it. You have already worked hard enough towards something because you have the vision.
Right.
So don't give up midway.
Right.
Sometimes we're just almost there and then you're tired.
I know the feeling. I do. So, I absolutely know the feeling. Yeah.
Okay. So even the greatest leaders have sometimes just given up after they've reached the tip of the mountain, and they haven't been great enough for that.
Okay.
Although they were good at what they did.
Right.
So yes, determination, persistence, extremely important. Now the next point I'm going to talk about is very interesting, Amit.
Okay.
Leaders usually make this mistake, and I'm sure you don't, but I'll still share it with you.
No, I'm sure I do.
Let's see. So what happens is, when your team is doing a fine job,
okay,
you applaud them, but you won't do it wholeheartedly. You'll be like, yeah, okay, that was good.
I honestly don't know the answer to that. I think
we'll have to ask the team.
We'll have to ask the team.
Absolutely.
I don't know if I am effusive in praise. I don't think I am. I'm not an effusive kind of guy generally.
Fair.
But
you don't have to be.
But I don't know. I don't know the answer. I try to show appreciation when necessary, appropriate, when someone's done something particularly good. I try to, but I don't know that I do a good job of that.
That's fine, because this is something that happens on an average. It's a majority situation with leaders.
Okay.
When they applaud, or when they are appreciating people in their team, they're doing it very half-heartedly. Okay. Just because it has to be done.
Okay. Now, I don't think I do it because it has to be done.
Right. But
I do it because there's a thought that it's something that should be said.
Right.
But I don't know if it comes across as praise or if it comes across as something half-hearted.
Right. Okay. So we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
However, let's come to the more important aspect of this situation.
Okay.
Criticism.
Okay.
Leaders often criticize people or the team members in public.
So that's something I never do.
That's excellent.
That's something I tried. Okay, I'm not going to say never do, but it needs to have been like a monumental screw up for me to do something like that.
Absolutely. Which is understandable. So I won't take that away from you.
Right.
But this is a very important rule all leaders, all effective leaders must keep in mind. You must applaud in public.
Yes.
Okay? Your team deserves to be applauded when they do something good.
Yes.
And you must try as much as possible to criticize behind closed doors. Let it be one-on-one, and that's about it.
That's the intent. For the most part, that's almost always right.
Great. So the whole team doesn't need to know somebody has screwed up. They don't need to know, oh my God, the boss just did this or said that. It's not right, because that can be extremely demotivating.
Yeah, I try my best not to do that. I actually also, if I want to bring up in like our staff meetings, if there's something negative that's happened, I'll almost never mention the person. I don't think I ever mentioned the person who did the negative thing.
Wonderful. But I would recommend that you have a conversation with this person.
Oh, that happens.
Behind closed doors. But basically a simple, straightforward rule. Applaud in public and criticize behind closed doors.
Yes.
Easy?
I buy that. I buy that 100%. I think that even like, when I used to work at other places, I felt like that was the way to do things. So, I 100% buy that.
Great. But sometimes, often, I have noticed that leaders usually take the title too seriously.
Okay.
And that's why they go missing when it comes to this particular rule.
Title as in like the...
Yeah, I'm in charge. So I can say what I want, when I want, to who I want.
Okay. That way.
So, it makes it a little difficult sometimes. So people can't keep that
I don't
in
think
mind.
that's my problem. My problem is I don't say as much as I should.
Then, so I think the criticism isn't the issue.
Yeah.
Applauding. So basically, just a little more gratitude.
Right.
In public would be nice.
Okay.
Just as simple as that.
Cool. We shall try that.
Moving on to our sixth point.
Yes.
Okay. Self-motivation.
Okay.
Being self-motivated is an extremely essential aspect of being an effective leader.
Okay.
All right?
Yes.
Of course, we all know what motivation means. So just getting up with the right mindset every morning, going to work so motivated that the team looks at you and feels equally motivated.
Right.
Just about that.
Right.
Yeah?
Cool.
Point number 7
yes.
would be the we attitude and the you attitude.
Okay.
So when you are a team, it's we.
Right.
I'm quite positive that's how you function.
Right.
So you are not the I person here.
I try not to be.
Right. So I'm pretty much sure that this isn't an issue with you. But leadership often goes astray when they have the I attitude. All right. So everything great that happens, it's because I am the leader.
Right.
But everything that is going amiss, is because, the team didn't work hard enough.
Oh, no, I'm the opposite.
Right.
I take even stuff which shouldn't be on my plate, I take it as my fault.
That is ownership.
Yeah.
That is ownership.
Yeah, and
that's
exactly.
fantastic.
Yeah.
That's a quality. So basically having a we attitude and not an I attitude.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Moving on, I'd say showing somebody where their flaws are.
Okay.
Okay? And helping them to improve upon them. So within your team. Yeah.
This is a tough one.
See, that's a tricky one, I'd say.
Because what also happens is people take criticism very personally.
That's right.
So that really is a tough one, right? Especially if it's like somewhat adjacent to direct work responsibilities, then it becomes even tougher.
That's right. It does.
Yeah.
But criticism is healthy feedback when it comes to work.
Yeah.
And you have to start the kind of communication with your team wherein they know when you criticize, you mean business,
right.
You mean improvement for themselves and for your organization. So when we discussed attitude and approach,
right.
So when the attitude towards criticism is correct,
right.
the approach will be great too. It shouldn't be much of a problem.
Okay.
So you can try that.
We can try it. I mean, I will try because there are things like this. So this is something that's been on my mind. So
right.
I will definitely give this a shot.
No, what happens is, let me just try and help you with how you can make this more effective for yourself. When you show somebody their flaws, it doesn't have to be you do this or you do that.
Right.
Okay? We're not talking about faults. We're not blaming somebody.
Right.
We're talking about an area of improvement.
Right.
Okay? Or an area of concern.
Right.
In such situations. So all we have to do is tell them, this could have been done better. Or had you tried doing this,
right.
we would have achieved better results.
Right.
So for instance, give them a solution in the problem.
Okay.
While you correct them. Maybe that can help. Maybe it's softer.
Maybe it could, yeah.
Maybe it's not as harsh as criticism.
Yeah.
So maybe you can give a solution along with the feedback.
I think that might be.
So try that. That would work.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yes.
Awards and rewards.
Okay.
I don't literally mean having all the possible awards and having big functions for yourself and your team. I just mean making sure that people are rewarded in some way or the other.
Okay.
Keeping them motivated to work harder.
Okay.
Okay. So awards and rewards come when we do a good job.
Right.
When the team is performing well, when somebody specific from a team is performing well.
Right.
So as a leader, it is your duty to make sure that is recognized. All right. So that's when a little bit of a reward,
right.
Not necessarily monetary rewards, but something in kind, something, just a special gesture.
Right. Okay. Yeah,
that is helpful.
Yeah. Okay.
So that can be done.
Cool.
All right. Finally, being humble.
Okay.
Being humble is one of the most essential aspects of an effective leader.
Can that go too far?
That can, but people just get a little confused between being humble and having self-respect and, on the contrary, being egoistic.
Okay.
So, the higher you go,
right.
the lower must your ego.
Okay.
Okay, that is my own quote.
Right.
By the way, may not be great, but honestly, the more people grow, they become slightly more egoistic. That's the reason why, the criticism is in public.
Okay, right.
The nature changes, characteristics. So just making sure that you remain humble and rooted through the process of your leadership is extremely important.
Okay.
Because the minute you become egoistic, you won't realize your own mistakes, your team's mistakes, and the situations that are bringing unproductivity in the team. So all in all, I'd say these are the simple, effective rules for leadership.
All right, excellent. Thank you. And I think, this is all stuff that I'm in agreement with all of it, right? I mean, like, this is stuff that I kind of feel like, okay, this is stuff that we need to put in place, and this is stuff that we need to... This is way that we should do things. So,
That's
I think these are great. I mean, like, these make a lot of sense, and we'll definitely be applying them.
Great. And the best part about all these things is that they are very doable.
Yeah.
And you can achieve them on a daily basis.
So, I mean, like, everything that you've told me right now, right? I mean, like, all of these 10 points are, at some level, things which I kind of grasp. Everything we spoke about, everything here seems doable. And I mean, like, if you were to ask me about each of these things, I would probably give the answer. But to have them codified like this actually kind of is really valuable.
It is.
Yes.
And thank you for that.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I hope you use it.
I will.
And I'm going to check on your leadership skills later then.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Thanks.
That was an episode from the Empowering series, How to Be a Better Boss, as they talked about the 10 rules for being an effective leader. Next week, Zarina and Amit will look at ego versus self-respect. For more information, find IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Hey man, just help me out, man. I need some podcasts, man. I haven't had a fix in a week. Just need some.
Don't you worry about it. I got podcasts galore for you, man. Just go to ivmpodcast.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Thanks, man. I'm gonna check it out.